Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
That's better. I'd like to call Sumter County Council regular meeting for Tuesday, February 28th, 2023 to order. Ms. B, would you please give us an invocation, and may we all stand and continue to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Our dear kind Heavenly Father, we just thank you for being the one in whom we live, move, and have our being. We thank you for allowing this council to come to the table once again. We thank you for the committee meeting that we've already held. And we thank you for our community members who saw fit to come and witness local government in action. We ask that you bless each of us in your perfect way. We ask that you continue to help us to meet the needs of the community, and that we consider every request that comes before us in the way that you would have us to. As we go through each item on our agenda, we ask that you give us wisdom, understanding, and clarity of mind, and fairness, that we will be able to do what you would have us to do in your way. We ask that you continue to bless our men and women who serve in uniform, especially those who are serving in harm's way. Let them know that they are not alone. Help them to feel your presence wherever they are. These and all blessings we thank and ask in the matchless name of our Savior and your Son, Jesus the Christ. Amen.
Amen. This evening, our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by U.S. Air Force veteran Charles M. Webster, who served our country from April 14, 1993 to August 3, 1995. He is a Gulf War service veteran that supported the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. He currently lives in County Council District Number 7. Thank you for your service, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Mrs. Brandon, are there any changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
So I have a motion and a second to approve our agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda is approved. Approval of minutes? Second. And you need to be properly seconded that we approve our minutes from our meeting of Tuesday, February 14th. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Land use matters, RZ 2214. And I will state prior to action on second reading, we will have a public hearing on this rezoning request.
Good evening, Helen Rickman for planning staff. RZ 2214 is a request at 4605 Patriot Parkway by LaTonya DeBose, who is the property owner. This is a request to rezone approximately 1.89 acres from general residential to agricultural conservation. This is the property in question. It is on the north side of Patriot Parkway, just west of Luella Lane, near the railroad tracks. The property as it stood in aerial imagery. It is mostly undeveloped. There is a single family manufactured home on the property that is in the process of being removed. It is zoned general residential, but it's next door to an agricultural conservation tract, as it is across the street as well. The applicant intends to construct a hair salon on the property if the rezoning is successful. The general residential zoning district doesn't allow commercial uses, but hair salons are a conditional use in the agricultural conservation zoning district, subject to reviewing site plan issues such as access, buffering, site layout, etc. As I said, The applicant has started removal of this manufactured home. Last month when we were taking pictures, this is the state that it was in. It may be completely gone at this point. They've removed the attached garage to it so that they can get the manufactured home to be removed from the property. It is in the military protection planning area. When we look at rezoning requests, we look at how it complies with our 2040 plan. In this particular instance, it is in the military protection planning area, which is supportive of rezoning to zoning districts that reduce residential density. The minimum lot size in general residential zoning district is 6,000 square feet. It could potentially be possible to divide this lot up into smaller pieces, but by rezoning it to agriculture conservation, you just have to reduce the density because it's not a full 2 acres. It would not be permitted to be subdivided. So you end up with one singular piece of land that upon successful rezoning would be eligible to be reused for one dwelling, either a manufactured home or a site-built house, or a business, or a combination of the business and a dwelling. By and large, we do find that this request is consistent with the comprehensive plan policies. Planning Commission does recommend approval of this request. We do find it's compatible with the 2040 plan, and if rezoning is approved, they would have to go through the conditional use review and site plan review process prior to being granted approval to construct any commercial use on the property. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Ms. Rosen? Thank you, Ms. Rosen. I now declare the public hearing for this RZ 22 request be open. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this rezoning request, please proceed to the podium. State your name for the record.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Teresa Coakley, and I reside at 4660 Patriot Parkway, which is almost, not exactly across the street, but kind of like diagonal across the street from 4605 Patriot Parkway. At this time, I oppose the rezoning of this area of 4605 Patriot Parkway to build a commercial beauty salon. I have lived at 46 Patriot Parkway. I'm not telling my age, but I'm presently 56 years old. My house was built since 1957. So over 66 years, this area from Eagle Road all the way up to Patriot Parkway has been basically a residential area. We don't have any storefronts like as a beauty salon up front, and I just disagree with it. Right now, I'm not sure how many of you have been down Patriot Parkway. The traffic is extremely tight. I mean, the road is steered two-way. There's no median in the middle for you to go in the middle to come out. Usually it takes me at least 5 minutes or so just to get out of my house in the morning and to get back from work just to get into my driveway because the traffic on Patriot Parkway is extremely tight. I feel that building a commercial beauty salon also opens up more crime, more burglaries, more residentials, the noise goes up. Like I said, I think this will interfere with the residential area that this street has been on, like I said, for ages, even before 1966. My grandparents have lived on this area, and I feel that other residents, majority of the other residents in the area, I do believe that they would not want a beauty salon, commercial beauty salon, to be right up front on this property. And I believe that spot zoning, once you get one, then that's going to open the opportunity for other things to pop up in the area. Nail salons, barbershops. So being that, I don't believe that this commercial beauty salon is going to be the interest of 4660 Patriot Parkway. There are no sidewalks. It's just family related, neighborhood related, very commercial rural area. And I think just starting this is going to turn up with more businesses and everything else in the area. So I oppose the rezoning of this area to build a commercial beauty salon. And thank you for your time this day.
Thank you, Ms. Coker.
Thank you.
My name is Patricia Coakley. I'm also, Teresa's my sister. I also lived at that house. We went to school at Delaney Elementary School. We walked that road several times. I have a property, which is my grandparents' property. It's on the back of the same place that this beauty salon will be at. So I got 4 acres back there. I'm worried about, we were going to put houses back there. So is that going to affect the area back there as well? So like I said, like she stated, this is a community a residential area that's been there for at least 66 years. My grandparents owned the property. We farmed the land, chopped cotton, and everything else on the land. So we would like for it to stay that way. I just wish that we know more about it. We're concerned because it only stated that from Sky Lane to Luella Lane. It did not go all the way from the other people that live on this property too for centuries, all the way from Eagle Road, all the way to St. Paul Church Road. This is always going to be our changed St. Paul Church down the road from that area. So we're concerned about it. There are others would have come, but they're in another meeting tonight, and my uncle, who recently passed, is one of the house right side in front of my house, my mother's parents' house. So I thank you for hearing us, and I agree with my sister disposed of not wanting it to be in this area this time.
Thank you, Ms. Copeland. Anyone else? Is the applicant here in this room?
I am.
Would you like to say something, please?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Latoya Pearson-Bowles, and I am the one that wants to build a salon there. In reference to what Ms. Copley just said, I understand the concerns and the noise level and stuff like that. I can reassure you that that won't be an issue because I've left salons because of the noise issue, because of drama, aggravation, all of that. No, I don't live in that community also. My mother and my father still live down Skylake, which is only a few minutes away from there. My aunt actually owned that property before she passed away. Her and my uncle. I do want to do something with the property to continue her legacy, and that's what I wanted to do with the salon. Doing hair was my passion, is my passion. I still do hair today. I work in a salon, I rent a booth. So I don't want to continue to do that for the rest of my life. I do want to own a salon. I don't plan on it to be like a really big salon. Something for me just to work, maybe one or two other chairs, and I will assure you that there will be no noise, no aggravation, nothing crazy going on in the neighborhood. And that's pretty much all I'm saying.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Anyone else? I declare a public hearing closed.
Make a motion to approve second reading.
Second.
Question.
Yeah, I do have a question.
Discussion.
When you mentioned that it is a conditional use, was that a C300 or 500?
No, sir. It's just a staff level review.
How that use got overlooked? I think it was going to be.
We don't have as many
Controversial.
C300 and C500 uses in the table as you would think. A vast majority of the uses are just straight conditional uses, where we look at site access, building placement, buffering, landscaping, parking, traffic flow, safety, lighting. We look at all of the things that you would look at as part of a commercial site plan review process. But we look at it on the front end as part of the review approval for the use prior to anything else. If this was already zoned agricultural conservation, as is everything that you kind of see here that's showing up on the screen as a greenish color, then it would just be a staff level review process, similar to the way that we handle churches in the community.
And the reason I just asked that is because I'm just curious if the individual would have any say so after this. I guess they won't after this. But, would there also be retail involved in this or just service?
We would review it as a commercial salon, if that is what she is proposing to do there. Any other use would have to be something that would be allowed in the general commercial, or the agricultural conservation district. It is generally considered the sales of shampoos and conditioners are ancillary that you see in a salon service. because it's not their primary source of revenue. Their primary source of revenue is in fact doing the hair. But as you'll see across the entire community, if you walk into almost any salon, they do offer a limited selection of hair products.
But if she would want to start doing the wigs and all the other stuff that you see these other stores selling.
That's a completely different use category.
What other properties is owned AC?
Everything across the street,
Yeah.
everything that you see that's not beige is agriculture. Yeah, so all of the green.
So you couldn't put this in agriculture?
She wants to
Yeah,
be zoned
you couldn't put it
agriculture.
in general?
General residential, no sir.
Okay. And I was just curious, the hours. Could I ask her what the hours are? You opening all through the night, or is it just mainly during the day?
Mainly during the day, I would say from like 9 o'clock in the morning to maybe 8 or 9 at night. That's when I finished my last client. So, but it may be sooner than that. But
Okay.
I like it over at 3 a.m.
Yeah, okay.
I also, I hate to tell these other residents, but eventually their road's gonna be 4 lane. It's just a matter of time. They won't be able to handle the traffic. They're gonna be 4 lane.
Do you know if the applicant has met with the community?
No, I don't.
Mr. Chairman, could you poll the applicant to see if she's met with the community? Have you met with the community about some of the concerns that they've had to see if they could be mitigated?
no, I haven't. I guess this is the first time I ever heard of the concerns or anything, but we can all sit down and have a conversation about it, but no, I haven't at this point, no.
Would that be something that you would do if we carried this matter over?
Yeah.
I have a question. Was notices sent to people in the community?
Notices were sent to property owners within 500 feet. The notices were sent to where their tax bills go, because that is the address that we have. The property was posted and it also went into the newspaper.
Any further discussion? We've got a motion and a second to approve second reading. All in favor?
I have a substitute motion.
Let's do that on third reading.
Okay, give me your rationale for that.
Why had the public hearing? You can change your mind on third reading. I'd be glad to go along with you.
You have a substitute motion.
I'll let the substitution ride. I'm going to vote against it, but before the third reading, I'd like for the applicant to have time to meet with the residents to see if they can work it out. As you all know, I'm always inclined to agree with the community, but it appears that they've not had a conversation, so I want them to have that conversation first.
Any further discussion? We got a motion and a second to approve second reading. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Opposed.
Opposed.
Okay. Second reading passes 5-2. Under new business, we have a request for the approval of a proclamation proclaiming the month of February each year as Black History Month in the county of Sumter, South Carolina. Have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the proclamation.
We have a motion and a second to proclaim the the month of February of each year as Black History Month in the county of Sumter, South Carolina. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So moved.
I'd like to make a statement, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to let the record reflect that I'm the sponsor of this proclamation. And the reason why I did that, I looked at the city. The city has a proclamation, but I looked at our county. And our county has a very rich history of African Americans in this county, live in Sumter County, who have done and are doing some outstanding things. And I think that all of the citizens of the county, not just black citizens, but white citizens, should know the history of these people that are doing things in the county. And I think that they should be really proud that Sumter has such a rich history of black history in this county. And that's why I proposed this proclamation, and I greatly appreciated that it was approved. Thank you very much.
Come now to committee reports. Mr. Washington, Public Safety Committee meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We covered several items in the Public Safety Committee meeting. We had a review from the detention center on personnel and activities and needs, and we received that report with information. We also covered the litter issue and provided some clarity on the direction that council is going in. Council is doing the background fiscal work on contracting with a company to address or clean up litter, particularly in rural areas around the landfills that have a major problem. Some landfills have more of a problem than others, and I think council is on the same page about how to address that. And so for the public's information, as soon as council gets back to us with the numbers, we will be executing a plan to address collecting litter. If you live in a rural area, as you know, when the grass is cut, the litter gets worse. And so to avoid that, there needs to be an effort to address picking the trash up. So we're getting closer to that. And as soon as the numbers come back from staff, we'll be implementing a plan. Lastly, we had a conversation about private roads. As you know, that is something that has become a problem in our community, particularly with older folks and seniors. And in the Public Safety Committee meeting this morning, we heard from some folks whose road is so bad that FedEx can't deliver, Lowe's wouldn't deliver a stove. Heat went off for 2 weeks in December and they could not get heat. And so this council is taking the position that we want to figure out a way to address that. And so we are tinkering with a couple of ordinances, one that would give council emergency powers to address issues like that. And then the other that would create a tax district for folks who live on private roads to address the issue in coordination with council at a fee. So we're running the numbers on that as well. So you'll see some movement on both those issues. And then lastly, Mr. Chairman, of course, we're going to other meetings, and I guess I can come back and talk about that unless you want me to talk about it now.
We can go right into it because
Okay.
the next one is a report from councilman.
Okay, today was the last of a series of meetings in District 1 with citizens that range from Pinewood through Wedgefield, Rafton Creek, Rembert, Pisgah Crossroads, with the Department of Transportation, and the specific reason for the meetings was to address road conditions, litter, trees falling, and so forth. We concluded the session today. I think you should be seeing some progress on state roads. As I've mentioned to my folks, in District 1 alone, there are 137 state roads, and I'd like for everyone to know that some of the roads that you travel on and you see things going on, it's not a county road. County roads have the green sign only. State roads have the green sign, but they have the black sign with the S beside them and some numbers. So if you see that green sign and black sign, just know that that is not a county road, that is a state road, and the state is responsible for maintaining state roads. So we just shared that as information, but you should be seeing some improvement on the state roads. If that does not happen, there are folks that you should contact at the state level, House and Senate members, because they supervise the Department of Transportation, and the Department of Transportation is in charge of maintaining state roads. Mr. Chairman, that completes my report. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Washington. Any other council members? Seeing none, monthly reports, Mrs. Brandon.
The Sheriff's Office monthly report is in your packet.
Mr. Mixon, County Administrator report.
So, Mr. Chair, council members, good evening. Just a couple of quick items. First, want to remind council that the budget process for the county has started. We've actually sent out letters to all the department heads and agencies, informing them that we need that information back by tomorrow. Hopefully, everybody will be able to comply. There will probably be some that will be a little slow coming in. We'll work with those. Once that's done, finance will compile all that information, and if needed, we will have a staff review with those departments to get more information on their budget requests. And then after that, we will bring the information to county council to start the county council process for budget review. As you know, we have to have the budget approved by the end of June. We generally schedule the first meeting in June as the third reading. So working back, we would actually have council's first reading on the budget on May the 9th, which is the first meeting in May. We schedule April generally for when we try to have as many budget workshops as necessary. Of course, we won't know that until we get more information, but once we, again, get all this information, see what we have, then we'll be able to define the budget schedule a little bit better. So, and just give you some dates to kind of work with. And lastly, but not least, I want to inform council, and some of you may already know, that Ms. Bette Rogers, our finance director for a couple of years, has tenured her resignation. This Friday will be her last day, so if you would like and have that relationship, please reach out to her and thank her for what she's done for Sumter County. Certainly she has been a valued employee for Sumter County while she's been here. I understand she's got other plans. She's from Columbia, and she has future plans over there. Ms. Kelsey Andrews, most of you are familiar with Kelsey. She actually was the interim finance director for Ms. Rogers. She has agreed to accept the position now. And so I think we're in good hands. She has worked through the budget process by herself in the previous budget. So I think we're in good hands and look forward to working with her. And at the appropriate time, we'll bring her back up to council. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Coming on to the public comment portion of our agenda. Any citizens desiring to speak, a limit of no more than 3 minutes. Comments to be made through the chairman. I now declare the public comment portion of our agenda open. Anyone wishing to speak to council, please proceed to the podium and state your name for the record.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brenda Williams. Most of you know me. My husband and I have been in town now 41 years. It's amazing. We have a free medical clinic for anyone in Sumter. We see folks actually from Richmond County, Lee County, Clarendon County. They come all from all different places to the Family Units Free Medical Clinic. We meet every first and third Saturday
from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So we welcome Sumter community who's uninsured. The family unit wants to reiterate and remind Sumter County Council of the importance of figuring out what needs to be done, what can be done, what should be done for the residents of Sumter County and the city of Sumter that live alongside Highway 76, 378 Highway. We talked with Mrs. Lottie Jones, head of the Santee Watery Regional Transportation Authority, and she laid out some very good figures, and we forwarded those figures to you, and she did also. Santee Watery Transportation Authority needs some financial help. There is like 1.2 million that has been promised with a quotation mark from the federal government, but Watery's needs matching funds. The family unit suggested that the county of Sumter give $2 million, at least $2 million a year to the RTA, along with the city of Sumter giving at least $2 million. That would help them to reach their matching funds and extra, actually to provide free service to the whole Sumter County riding the bus. Mostly folk that ride the bus are low-income people, but the buses do other services. They ride people back and forth to the Irish Festival every year. They take folk out to show for the air shows for free. And RTA does a great service. So please, as you budget your monies, our monies, correction, the taxpayers' money, as you budget those money, think about the poor folk that have no transportation back and forth inside the city of Sumter. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you, Dr. Brunson.
Good evening. My name is Gwen Padmore, and I'm with the Sumter Seventh-day Adventist Church, and we have a store piggybacking on what Miss Dr. Williams were talking about, Highway 378, North Pike, and the accidents that's been happening over there. I had contacted the mayor, the city manager, and also called the county. I didn't receive a call back. And what I wanted to know, the community wanted to know, since it's been a year since the little boy was killed on February the 4th last year, an update on what the county and the city was going to do for that area. And today I have with me Mr. Bond. They are homeowners in the Walnut community, and they have had 2 family members killed while crossing 378 to get the resources on the other side of the street. And also I have Miss Noveline. She lives in Spring Hollow. She's been living there 6 years, and she's familiar with the Hammett family. And so last year when this accident had happened, it was stated on WIS that the county and the city would be working on making that community safe. And so they wanted to have an update as to what you all plan to do, because they said they don't see anything happening over there on that side of the freeway. So when I called the county, they said, well, come on down and ask the council what's the update that they have. So here we are today for an update as to what you all plan to do to make that community safe for people living on that corridor.
We'll talk afterwards. We'll talk afterwards.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. Anyone else? Hearing none.
Mr. Chairman.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, before we adjourn, I held back on what I wanted to say because I thought we were going to have a lengthy meeting and I didn't want to withhold people here. But I would like to just mention a few names that are very important to the history of Sumter County and the reason why I put in the proclamation. First name is Ernest A. Finney Jr. Most of you know him as Judge Finney. He was the first African-American appointed to the South Carolina Supreme Court since Reconstruction, and he served as Chief Justice of the South Carolina Supreme Court from 1994 to March 20. He spent his last years of his life in Sumter County. So I got to know him. He was a very good friend of mine. Another person is James E. Clyburn. Mr. Clyburn was born in Sumter County, and he is the U.S. Representative of the House of South Carolina, and he has represented the 6th District since 1993. He served as the House Majority Whip, third highest position from 2007 to 2010, and from 2019 to 2022. He graduated from South Carolina State. What's good about him, he's also a member of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity, which Councilman Washington and Council Lady Vivian McCain, his husband, is a member of that outstanding fraternity.
As well as you.
Another person, military. We like to connect with the military. Well, we're the home of Leroy Bowman. He was one of the original Tuskegee Airmen who helped to break the color barrier in the military. He grew up in Sumter County, South Carolina. And as a boy, he dreamed of flying an airplane. He became a pilot in 1941 when he joined the United States Army Air Corps and later became an aviation cadet at Tuskegee Army Airfield. He graduated in 1943 as a second lieutenant and was assigned to the 332nd Fighter Group, which escorted bomber groups through the target in Germany. And they earned the name the Red Tail Angels. As you know, we have a position out there in the park for airplane, the F-51, which we have a difficult time trying to get, but the statue's there, and I was just asked this morning about the statue. We also have one of the most outstanding educators, Ms. Mary McLeod Bethune, who is from Maysville, South Carolina. And she was a founding president of the Bethune-Cookman College in Daytona, Florida. And of course, she became president of the National Council of Negro Women, and she became an honorary member of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. And last, my good friend, Russell Crazy Leg Patterson. He is a member of the former Negro Baseball League. And he tours around the country speaking about the league. And also, he lives in my district, District 7, in Sherwood Forest. So I appreciate you giving that, and so that people can understand that why I said we have a very rich history. And those are just a few of people here in Sumter, and that's why I was so glad that we approved the proclamation making February Negro History Month in Sumter, South Carolina. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Second. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.